After some more work on the Philco set, this is where we're at the moment. Linearity has improved a lot. I've went around and cleaned the controls again and done some more changing caps and things. I made a bit of a boo-boo and I misread the diagram. In fact, this morning I came down, took a cap out. It was a 0.05, which is a 0.047, and changed it with a 0.002. So that didn't work at all. And I was scratching my head for over like an hour, checking all the resistors and things. Thankfully, the frame time base is really easy, so I've sorted that now, and this is what we have. Actually, looks really good. It looks better on camera again than it does in person. I've not got the EHT caps connected, so the picture might not look good as it should do. But this is pretty much what we have, and I don't know. It was alright. Bit out of focus on the edges, but yeah. I think the next thing I'm going to do is clean the chassis and just make it look a bit more nicer. Right. See you guys in a bit. Bye. Right, so I think we're pretty much almost done. Still need to clean the controls.
On the 18th of November 1966, the Arizona gun fired a marklet travelling at 7,000 feet per second, 111 miles into space.
Where the EHT drops. Now I've changed out a couple more wax caps.
But today it sits in the Arizona desert, its machinery oiled and ready, so that when the time comes, it can once again take aim at the stars.
I've set the tap on, I've made sure that my variac is at
today,
the full
Barcroft
230
Station is
volts,
still a centre for research into life at high altitudes.
The tube performs
but chimpanzee testing for the space program has long been abandoned. Rocket technology has now left the V2 far behind. And historic sites like Test Stand 7 and Launch Complex 33 are simply abandoned. Now, space exploration is aiming for new horizons.
Because I have nothing else to lose, to be honest. It could either work or it just might not work.
The focus now on space is to reduce the cost.
And I need to clean up the
we
chassis.
have such a wide-ranging use of space in our everyday lives as well, which is helping drive
the
that.
CRT, which is a big letdown with this set.
Their approach is
focus
to have
isn't too
reuse of the
bad.
rockets, and that's how you bring the cost down.
It looks pretty good. I've got some slight vertical,
The future of space
some
exploration
slight folding.
may
It's
well
very
be
slight
dependent
folding. Right, so this is the last video at the moment for this set. As you can see, I've polished up the cabinet and it's actually come out really nice. You can't really see it too well actually on this video, and I apologise for the mess of my workshop. I've got 5 million different things going on at the moment. But I'll show you what I've done. Really stuck a 2-pin plug. I'm only going to be drawing a couple of amps on there, and there's a fuse on the on the chassis, so I'm not too concerned about that, to be honest. It's actually both line and neutral that's fused, so that's a bit naughty, I suppose. Clean up the cabinet, and it's actually come out really well. I'm considering spray painting the grille because there's a couple of scuffs, but that really going to happen? I doubt it, to be honest. Put the knobs back on. Yeah, I also cleaned the chassis as well. Just went over it really, cleaned up those valve bases on the IF/RF strip. I kind of figured out it's a superhet. I originally thought it was a TRF, fixed tuned type of deal. It's a superhet receiver, so that's why it was so sensitive, and it's still so freaking sensitive too, because it still picks up radio. I suppose it's FM, isn't it? Anyway, let's quickly power this on, and I'll show you what's happened to the poor tube in this set. That I'm one of the world's best restoration people out there, there, because by no means am I at all. But I'm able to sort of get old things going again, to the point where they're reliable, let's say. This started off as a really interesting, fun project, but I don't know, the more I kept the chassis out of the cabinet, the more I turned it on and sort of was doing fine-tuning adjustments and tidying up the chassis and sort of going over my work, and more I fiddled with it, the more the tube emission died, the more I let it run, the emission went low, and then there was also this issue where for some reason the grid and cathode shorted together. Not fun, to be honest, not fun at all. So that's on. Let's turn my power supply on over here. Let's have a look. So this is, you won't be able to see it. So basically the emission over time has just been dropping a lot on this tube. You can't boost it, you can't rejuvenate it, it won't happen. These Mazda tubes, the cathode is so dirty, there's just no point. It's worn out, it's a knackered old tube. You can see we're going to sort of get some line lock over here, maybe not. Maybe we might do. Oh, there we go. It's warmed up. What you're seeing there is, I think we've got GB News on there. We can't see it very well, actually. See if I can sort that image out, actually. Oh dear, the tube has just shorted. Cathode, grid to cathode short. Let's see if I can unshort that tube. There we go. And my lamp has fallen down. So it's an intermittent short, and I don't actually know what causes it, to be honest. And I think my aerial cable's just come out, so we're going to have to, let me just pause the video. Right, so we've got a picture on there now, and again, it's more visible than it is in person. So if we turn these lights off, just for context, that's it. Brightness is turned all the way down. To get any watchable picture on here, again, you can see there are flyback lines over the, I don't think there's a flywheel sync.
Amorously attacked by this bicycle, but it's a Euro bike. I think it's a pro-European, and that's why it violated me.
Doesn't look too bad, actually. Focus is a lot more better. And then again, we're at a very low brightness, so you'd probably expect the focus to be on.
GGG Chambers says LMB.
I've stretched out the picture a bit. I've also employed the EHT cap. I've restuffed the old one.
Really strong.
0.001 value.
I think some of them, I've got to say, are unbroadcastable. Thank you.
Doesn't look too bad, to be honest. I've stretched the line scan out of this. I suppose I could bring it in just to this in. There we go. Brought the line scan in a bit there. Doesn't look too bad, actually. It looks really good. Looks pretty good, to be honest. I'll turn the test card off. Yeah, it's a decent picture, to be honest. But yeah, so that's sort of the end of it now, I think. I'm quite happy with how things are. Has a good sound. Mains hum has come back, and I've checked the DC smoothing. I've checked it on a scope, and I've checked it with the meter. There is no sort of ripple on the power supply at all. So the cathode, it's the cathode bypass, I'm guessing, on the audio output valve that has the cap, whether I think it's 100 mic cap. That's probably got a bit leaky. I'm not going to bother faffing with that at the moment. Picture's fairly decent. I'm pretty happy with how it is. The tube is just a bit of a disappointment, to be honest, and that's pretty much the only issue that we have at the moment. Other things to mention, I have changed out the EY, I think it's an EY51 or Mollard EY51 EHT rectifier. I've changed that for a solid state diode, some solid state diode I have, which seems to work for that application. And I think that's it really. There is an adjustment that you can do in the IF strip, and there was some talk on the vintage radio forums about there being some interference, and I've sort of twiddled this control and it's taking that interference down. Most of it, to be honest, is just due to my bad wiring, hookup wiring for the aerial. I normally use a VHF distributor. I've got two. I've got a UHF one and a VHF one that is supposed to support 405 line frequencies, and that's normally how I distribute my standards converter around the workshop. So pretty good. See, the line wants to get unlocked. It's did a pretty good job at keeping locked, actually. It's because I've adjusted that whip control. But yes, that's the set pretty much done. And let's have a look at it with the light on. How watchable is that picture? Anyway, I think I'm going to call this restoration done. Thank you very much everyone for watching. Been a hell of a ride, eh?